Every 6 months, my boyfriend, who works from home, travels for a week to work in person at his company's office in Los Angeles, California. For this trip, I was meeting him there from our home, so I decided to pay extra for a window seat to help manage my anxiety during the flight. As someone who avoids confrontation and tends to go with the flow, this flight ended up being a real test of how far out of my comfort zone I was willing to go. I, 21F, had never flown alone without my boyfriend, 26M, before. Everything was going smoothly on my flight from Dallas to Los Angeles until it was time to board. I was in Group 6, and instead of waiting in line with the others, I decided to stand by a pillar to be closer to the gate when my group was called. When Group 6 was called, I started following behind Group 5. A mother and daughter skipped ahead of me, but I didn't mind much since we were all on the same flight. As I boarded the plane, I noticed that the mother and daughter were seated in the row next to mine. To my surprise, the daughter was sitting in my seat, the one I had paid for. Since I'm not confrontational, I politely informed the mother that her daughter was in my seat. She responded rudely, saying, "I don't want to sit apart from my daughter, you sit in her seat," without even a please. I refused to swap seats because her daughter was sitting in the middle seat, not the window seat I could have accepted. I ended up squeezing into a cramped spot in front of a poor woman in her aisle seat, as my anxiety made it hard to think clearly. Another passenger suggested I stand next to an empty seat until a flight attendant could help. But soon after, a woman arrived claiming the seat I was standing in. I explained the situation, apologized, and moved. As more passengers continued to board, the stress just kept building, leaving me more anxious. After waiting for a few minutes, a flight attendant, who definitely seemed annoyed and in a hurry-up mood, finally arrived to sort out the situation. She immediately sided with me, telling the mother that she couldn't just take someone else's seat without permission and that they needed to move to their assigned spots so we could take off for Los Angeles. The mother, however, refused and got more aggressive, saying she expected people to be understanding because she was a mother trying to sit with her daughter. I understood where she was coming from, but my comfort was just as important as her desire to be with her daughter. Instead of asking the passengers in her daughter's row to swap seats, she wanted my window seat because, I assume, she wanted to distract her daughter. The flight attendant then asked me to take my luggage up front, which made me think I was either getting kicked off the plane or moved to a different seat. Once I was up front, she told me to wait while she got a flight coordinator to handle the situation. I was standing by the plane door, waiting what felt like forever. Eventually, a man walked onto the plane with a security guard and asked about the situation. The flight attendant explained everything, including that I'd paid extra for my seat. The coordinator asked to see my ticket, then said, if she refuses to exchange seats, then she doesn't have to, and I felt relieved. He went to talk to the mother, and I stood there, waiting for this to be resolved. Then I heard yelling. I felt a pit in my stomach, knowing it wasn't going to end well. Part of me wanted to just let her have the seat to end the situation, but at that point I couldn't back down. After what felt like ages, the flight attendant, security guard, and flight coordinator came back with the mother and daughter in tow. As soon as I saw them, I knew they were being kicked off the plane, and I felt absolutely terrible. Even though it wasn't my fault, I couldn't shake the guilt of causing a mother and daughter to be removed from their flight just because I wanted the window seat. Despite the guilt, I didn't feel like the in the situation. The flight attendant told me I could return to my seat, and as I walked down the aisle, I felt the eyes of the passengers on me. Some were giving me dirty looks, others looked sad, and a few even seemed eager to see drama unfold. When I reached my seat, I overheard a couple of people complaining about me causing a little girl to get kicked off the plane. I just put in my earbuds and prayed for the flight to end quickly. I couldn't sleep and kept thinking about what had happened. And to top it off, when we landed, I waited until the very end to leave the plane since I'm only 4 feet 10 inches and couldn't reach the overhead compartments. A woman, probably in her 30s, sarcastically said, "I hope you enjoyed your seat. You made a little girl and her mom get kicked off." Even though I felt guilty, I didn't think I was in the wrong. I just wanted this whole experience to be over. So AITA in this situation?